Let's get this party started. Are you ready?
Let's get this party started right. Let's get this party started quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Throw that beat. 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 I'm tired. That was exhausting. This is the energy in which you start your podcast with. Welcome to another episode of Social Proof. My name is Donni Wiggins. And
my name is David Shans.
Hey, and he's a podcast summit king.
Come on, man. We out here.
We in these streets.
Yes, man. Hopefully everybody's having an amazing week. Hopefully your entrepreneurship is entrepreneuring, and hopefully you've been taking things to the max in your life. Mm-hmm. You've been really going hard, because that's the only way to build something special. So, thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Yo, we were recorded up so far for at least a couple of weeks that we're here. We're new today. It feels It's been a while. How you been?
I don't know.
Okay, that's
describe it.
I wasn't expecting that answer.
Okay, how you been?
I've been outstanding. I really feel like I'm in a season where I'm just having the time of my life.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I do. Now, that doesn't mean it's been perfect, right? This season has been...
Got a little boy toy?
Shans, we're not even 3 minutes in.
Start too early? Too early, y'all?
We're not even 3 minutes in for real.
Okay. Keep going. Outstanding. Time of your life.
It's just been... my season is good.
Yeah.
I don't want to share anymore.
Well, share the stuff outside of the boy toy thing. I'm saying all the other cool stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm. So, been picking up great clients, quality clients. Client roster is full. Community is growing.
Let's go.
Doing a lot of traveling.
Let's go.
Feeling my best from a fitness perspective. Feeling super intact from a spiritual perspective. Good. And I'm just having a great time. I think that right now, you know how you can see some people and the happiness just glows on them? Yeah. I feel my inner glow happening because I'm just like in a really good place.
Negative twist. Do you ever feel the anxiety that it's only going to last for a little while?
Yeah. So I don't know that I feel the anxiety of it's only going to last for, not really that. I try not to think on that thought too much, though I've had it before, right? But I do, and I'm currently dealing with the anxiety of what's next. Not so much how long is this going to last, but I feel like God is pulling me in another direction. Not another direction, but a higher version of myself. And with that comes some change. And it's like, what's next? What am I going to do next?
Is it anxiety of what's next or anticipation?
Oh, my God. It could be both. It just depends on the day. It depends on the season. So been doing a lot of like really, really deep work. And some days there's anxiety, some days there's anticipation. Yeah. But every day I know that I've been here before, right? I've reached this place before of what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? How do I grow? Because we can't, even where we are at our stage in our business and our lives, you just can't afford to stay the same too long, right? You have to continue to grow. Otherwise, we start dimming ourselves. We lack opportunity to grow on our own because we're staying in a place for far too long. So some days it's anxiety, some days it's anticipation. I was just talking to my friend Maya about this maybe a week or so ago. She and I are both kind of in that what's next. Maya had me planning to move to Mexico for a year 2 weeks ago, and then she changed her mind. Right. I'm like, Maya, I'm not moving to Mexico. But yeah, it's a common thing. What about you? Are you feeling anxiety or anxious?
Before I get
anxiety
there,
or what was the other word you used?
Anticipation. Before I get there, you said something. You said, I've been doing a lot of deep work. And I want you to describe what that is, because as you said it, you said a lot of stuff after that, but I didn't really catch any of the stuff after except for moving to Mexico, because I was stuck on, I don't know if I've ever done deep work. I don't know. Deep work. Can you explain it?
For me, deep work has been a lot of intensive thought sessions where I'm actually brain dumping these ideas and prioritizing. So
more business deep work.
Not just business. So there are things that are applicable in all areas of my life. Like, what do I want my life to look like from a physical fitness perspective? Doing a lot of spiritual deep work, but that's consistent for me. Like, and what I mean by that is like a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting. We're fasting every Wednesday now, so I can't eat any food until tomorrow. So I'm fasting, and that's a new thing, where my workout buddy and I are fasting every Wednesday this month.
He's doing it too?
The young lady that you guys see me post every single day from the gym, we are fasting every single Wednesday. And in that case, you know, when doing that, it just gives you the opportunity to just get really, really clear. Sit down, because you can't eat. All you have are your thoughts to digest, right? So really sitting down and thinking about what I want my life to look like. And I am about to read the Bible from cover to cover. I've never read the Bible from cover to cover in one, like, I go through and
I've never done it at all.
You've never done it?
No.
Yeah, I've never read the Bible from cover to cover, but I've been really inspired to read the Bible from cover to cover, because I feel like I'm at a place now where I can actually understand. I tried to read it from cover to cover once before, but it was just to say that it was done because I lacked understanding. But I am in a place now where I actually understand what's on the pages, and I am going to read the Bible from cover to cover.
I wonder how many pages, it depends on the book, the Bible, but average amounts of pages in
it's different though, because those words are super small and then they split.
I'm trying to get like an average. Okay, using a standard font, the average Bible has around 1,200 pages. Using an average font.
So if you read 30 pages a day.
365 divided by, 1,200 divided by 365. It's really 3 pages a day.
Just do 1,200 divided by 30, because the average read is about 30 pages a day. I read on average about 30 pages a day.
For a year, you're talking about?
No. So
I read it in a month?
I guess, if that's what the numbers break down to.
No. So if we have 1,200 pages, if we divide it by 365 days, it's 3.28 pages a day.
But I'm not looking to read the Bible from cover to, I'm not looking for it to take a year.
How long?
So if you said 1,200 pages, if I'm reading 1,200 pages and I'm reading on average 30 pages a day.
You're not reading 30 pages a day, Dottie.
I read today 30 pages a day.
30 pages a day?
Yeah, that's 45 minutes of reading.
Listen, you're going to get into Acts. You're going to get into like Leviticus.
Well, listen.
You might be able to do 30 pages of Psalm or Proverbs or something like that.
Good little Genesis.
A little Genesis.
No, listen. So you have to, that's just the baseline. So there are some even business books that on average, my goal is 30 pages a day, but some of them I need to sit with for just a second, and I'm not going to get 30. I might get 20. So if it takes on average, the number is 30 pages a day, that's 40 days, right? A little over a month. I would give myself maybe 90 days to get through the Bible, because I'm reading for the way that I read, I take notes, I do research to make sure I understand before I move forward.
30 of those a day? No way.
I'm going to try. I don't know. Don't put your limited beliefs on me.
I'm throwing my limited beliefs on you. Well, I'm saying this is your plan, of course, so I don't want to like intrude on your plan. If I was going to do it, I'd pick out like how long I want to do it in and figure out what that work looks like.
So you believe that it's unrealistic to read the Bible from cover to cover in 90 days?
Nothing's unrealistic, but based on your based on your life, and I don't know, unless you're devoting the next 90 days of your life to reading the Bible, sure.
Yeah, Shan's 30 pages takes an hour max to read.
That's true. Where do you find an hour at?
What do you mean?
You're one of the busiest people I know.
Yeah, so I usually read, and I don't.
Let me stop projecting. I'm projecting.
You are projecting very much.
I'm projecting, right?
I don't always read an hour straight. So sometimes in the morning, I'll read 30 minutes or so, and then I'll do it 30 minutes before I go to bed. And then I also have a cheat code. Like if it's a super, super busy day and I can't physically read, I always buy my books on the audiobook version, and I'll listen to those 30 pages as well.
Gotcha. And I think one of the things, business books are easier to understand, but like with the Bible, there's so like, it's so much in there for you to like digest it and like sit with it. And it's just it's a challenging book to read.
So, yes, I agree. And I don't only read business books. I like novels. I like all kinds of stuff, mystery books. And if I get a good novel or mystery book, I can literally read that book in a day. Like if it's like, because it's so interesting and it's a page turner. I just Googled though. The average reader, I Googled how long does it take to read the Bible, and it says at an average reading speed, it takes about 74 hours and 28 minutes to read the entire Bible, which is 12 minutes a day. If you read the Bible for 12 minutes a day, you could finish the entire Bible in 1 year. If you do 30 minutes a day, you could finish in about 1 month.
That's a lie. That doesn't make any sense. I would say 6 months.
If you read the Bible for 30 minutes a day, you could read all 17 prophetic books over an hour a day. If you read the Bible for just an hour a day, you could finish the entire Bible in 2 months. I think it's realistic. I can dedicate an hour to read the Bible.
That just got real practical.
Yeah.
An hour carved out to actually read the Bible.
Let's read it together. Let's start August 1st. And
I'm not doing 30 pages. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Shans, why?
We read like a max of 10 in the morning meetup. And that's a good. As soon as Nella started putting like 12 pages in there, I'm like,
So.
Right? Like, it's like 13 pages. Like, yo, what's up with you? You feel me? I'm not doing 30. I know who I am.
If you read the Bible for just over an hour a day, you could finish the entire Bible in 2 months. So take the pages out. Can you read for an hour? Okay, Shans, what can your brain have the capacity?
I don't know. I don't have that type of, like when I read, my mind starts wandering other places.
Mine too.
So the short, I can read a whole page and then I'll have forgot it and then I have to go back. So that's why I got to do mine in pieces. But I think I like the whole year vibe. I like the 3 pages a day, 4 pages a day.
12 minutes a day.
That ain't nothing but 2 flips.
I mean, it's 2 flips.
You feel me?
Crazy. 12 minutes a day. Okay. 12 minutes a day would leave you the availability to read other books.
Yes.
Because, okay, all right. So we're breaking this down. We're figuring it out because I still have to read other books. I still read, every single day. So because I do read 30 pages a day, maybe I could, a year just sounds like we're just taking too long to do something we should have already done.
Yeah, but what if we started last year?
We'd be done today.
Exactly.
Right. But why wouldn't we dedicate this time and just knock it out? Why are we not prioritizing it the same way that we prioritize everything else?
But the thing is, in the Bible, it's not that I want to read it to get through it. There's certain things that there's words that I need to understand. Where does that word come from?
For sure.
Like the history of something. So, we could just go after it to say we did it, but understanding it's a little, like novels and other books, they're like a little easier because it's written so that the reader can read and just get it. I rock with it.
Yeah, a novel, yes, but if you read any type of higher learning book, we have to stop and understand and discuss and define and all those good things too. So I think that we can I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes. And the only reason I retracted the hour is because I read other books too. So I still need time to read the books that I need to also grow in business and keep up with Actionable CEO because they're assigned book pages as well. Let's do 30 minutes a day. You can do that.
Yeah, I like the 4 pages.
At 30 minutes a day. If you read,
I like them 4 pages.
That's right. Okay, so it was saying an hour a day we could read the Bible in 2 months. 30 minutes a day was right. It said in about 1 month. We can
That's not 1 month, Donnie.
So if 1 hour is 2 months, if Johnny had 5 apples and divided them by 2.
An hour a day.
If an hour a day is 2 months.
An hour a day is 2 months.
Then
yes.
30 minutes a day would be.
What are you saying?
1 month.
You sound crazy to me. Are you serious? Or you're joking?
It's literally in half. Am I being...
Are you serious?
Oh.
This is your business coach? This is who y'all talking to? If Johnny had 5 apples...
You're right. Okay, so it would say 4 months, but...
What?
It would be 4 months. It would be 4 months.
It'd be 4 months.
It would actually be 4 months. Sorry, you guys, I had a blonde moment. I'm good at what I'm good at. No, but seriously, 4 months, it sounds a whole lot better than 12.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to take 12 months to read the Bible.
I like 6 months. I like 6 months. I mean, it took 40 years. So what's another 6 months? Yo, side note, I'm in the gym. First off, giving these 20-somethings some work on the court yesterday, okay? Going at it. And when I'm like, how old are you?
Like, oh my God.
I was like, y'all had an old man out here. I said, I'm almost 40, 39. I don't know why. All right, that story had nothing to do with it. Yo, anyway, side note.
Tell me.
That was like the end of the story. It just wasn't a good story because it wasn't like a plot or anything. But I said 40. Anyway, okay, so this routed from like deep work. And I don't know if I've sat with myself to find out like what's really going on inside my brain. And I'll strategize and I'll think through problems and things of that nature. But that joint really, it really arrested me when you said you did some deep work. And now I'm thinking, what haven't I found out about me yet? You know what I mean?
Have you given more thought to therapy?
No.
You should. Because they're
going to help me do the deep work?
Oh, no, they really will.
I want to have a therapist live.
We can do it. Oh, you want to have an independent session? I can set that up.
No, we just do it. We can do it now. Not now, but like on an episode, have a therapist. I just need don't do it live. You're not going to really be open. Why not? I'll be open.
I don't. Dave has no shame. So I think he'll be open.
Yeah, I'm not.
You have some stuff. You don't necessarily have stuff to hide, but you have some stuff that you don't want to. You really do have some stuff that you don't want to deeply tap into live.
Like what?
There are conversations that we just don't want to have. Things that make us emotional, things that make us sad, things that make us remember pain and trigger trauma.
Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with that because things really don't make me sad or trigger trauma.
Shans, that's not true.
It's not. Okay, not things that don't make me sad. So my son having a seizure, I cry and it hurts. But it's not something that I don't want to think about the pain it caused. It was like a moment and I'm just blessed that it's over. But it's not something that I wouldn't talk about.
Right,
you know what
but
I mean?
if then the therapist says to you, okay, that's fair. Your son having seizures scares you and it's one of the only things that triggers you into tears. What do you think is causing the tears? What are you afraid of, Shans?
You think that question's gonna like...
What are you afraid of?
I am afraid of public embarrassment.
No. When Psalm had a seizure and you cried.
Yes.
Why? You don't cry.
No.
So why did that make you cry?
I don't want to lose my son.
Okay. You don't want to lose your son, but loss of your son wasn't happening. Were you tapping into any other kind of loss?
No. I wasn't thinking about any other loss in that moment. It was just
maybe not on the surface.
Right.
But you know the pain associated with
loss. This is why you're not a therapist. You are an amazing business coach. that little session we had did not do what you wanted it to do.
It didn't do what I wanted it to do. But what are you afraid of? Public embarrassment. Okay. So what's public embarrassment to you? Like if you pass gas in public loudly?
If, let's say, for instance, I'm giving a speech and this is the wildest thing because I've thought about this before. I'm giving a speech or I'm somewhere where people are looking at me and I pee on myself. You can see it.
What?
The strangest thing.
Is this like a recurring vision that you have?
Oh, man, for sure. It is.
Have you peed on yourself before?
Never peed on myself.
Well,
not never peed on myself. I peed on myself for sure. But not in front of people. I'm with a friend one time, and we are, I don't know, we just came back from somewhere, and we're going back to like where he stays, his apartment. And we get out the car, and he's like, oh man, I gotta use the bathroom. And then he's like rushing to his apartment. And I'm like, all right, cool, we're gonna get there. And he said, man, I need to hurry up and get here before I pee on myself because I think he had like some sort of kidney issue. So I'm like, what if I ever have a kidney issue and I pee on myself? Ultimate embarrassment.
This is the fear that you think about?
For sure.
Okay, so.
Or being locked in a room with a snake.
So you're afraid of that?
Yeah.
Yo, let me tell you a story. So yesterday, my best friend Bree and I are in Phipps and we're shopping. And I'm looking for some shoes to wear to this all-white party that I have to go to in New Orleans this weekend. It's my uncle's 65th birthday. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Uncle Brian. It is his 65th birthday, and the family is going to New Orleans, right?
Happy birthday. You going?
Yeah, I'm going. So I'm looking for some shoes to wear to this all-white party. So we're searching. I can't find anything. And Bree says Versace has the best pair of shoes to match the vision that you have. And immediately I clam up and I'm like, I don't wear Versace.
Why?
And she's like, why? I'm like, I'm terrified of that Medusa head that's on Versace. And she's like, it's just a logo. I said, absolutely not, ma'am. You know what Medusa is? And, her hair was turned into snakes and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I have the biggest fear of Medusa. And she's like, Donnie, surely everything doesn't have the Medusa head on it. So we go into the Versace store and we're looking at the shoes. And I'm like, even if it says Versace, it still has that Medusa head somewhere kind of in the background. When I was little, and I went to school, my cousin Lynn, I had to go to her high school, St. Gabriel in New Orleans when we...
Sure, St. Gabriel?
I'm sure it's St. Gabriel. You were waiting for your moment. I had to go to her school and she would, one day, her and her cheerleader friends or majorette friends, whatever she did, locked me in the bathroom and did the Medusa spell. And you say it 3 times and you're supposed to see these snakes come out of the mirror. And they brought me in the bathroom like they were using the bathroom, turned on all the water. I'm in the stall using the bathroom and all of a sudden they turn out the lights and lock me in that bathroom. And they're outside saying it over and I just see snakes everywhere. Like I am terrified, out of my mind. I think I see this woman everywhere. And since then... if you want to scare me, that's how you scare me. Wow. So I called my cousin yesterday and said, hey, do you remember when you did this thing? She's like, absolutely. Of course I remember. She is so sorry to this day for scarring me in that way, but I'm scarred. I can't, that's a brand I cannot wear. Keep it away from me. So
let's say, for instance, something like that happened in therapy and we find out this is the root cause of it. Mm-hmm. So what?
Well, and so now, for years, I've just always said that Versace's not my brand. I don't like it. It's not something that I enjoy. My best friend was really poking. She was agitating the issue like, why?
Right.
Why? You've pet snakes, you've done this, you've done that. I'm like, but that Medusa head.
Pet snakes?
I don't fool with. I have pet a snake before.
Never.
Yeah, I've pet a snake on a beach. I probably, you know when they take you in Cancun and they give you those shots first, the Cancun shots, they give you the shots on the excursion and they be like, here, touch a snake. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll touch the snake.
Yep. Yeah, so
you need therapy.
Therapy's pointless. So
therapy is not pointless, man.
I'm just trying to get the people going, okay? You know,
it allows you to peel back the layers and understand why you behave the way that you behave. It helps you understand why you behave the way you behave. It helps you to understand why things affect you the way that they affect you, why you might absorb certain things, or in your case, you're an emotional avoidant. So what is it that's causing you to be emotionally avoidant? And it also helps you to understand why you perceive the world to be what you perceive the world to be. These things are important, and they are going to ask you questions that will trigger a core memory that you have forgotten about from so long ago, and you'll be like, that's why.
You cried in therapy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you had therapy? You cry? You be crying though?
I be snot nose crying.
No, I'm saying, are you a crier? Like you be crying? You had therapy? You be crying? You never cried in therapy?
You appear to be an emotional avoidant as well. And so
that's what I'm saying. It don't work on us.
No, it does work. Y'all are so immature. Oh, well,
but you haven't had it as an adult. All right, so here's my public invitation. If there is a therapist and you are really, really good at what you do, I would like to have a public therapy session on the podcast. It's live. So listen, if it doesn't work, you suck as a therapist and everybody's going to know it.
No, here's the thing. It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't work like that.
I want a powerful session.
Therapy is a process, and they have to peel back your layers over time. So a good therapist is not just going to, on a first session live, take you straight to your trauma, right? That's just not responsible. They have to
take me to my trauma.
They're not going to take you to your they have to take you to your trauma.
Get me there.
They're going to take you to your trauma, but a good, solid therapist, you're probably not going to experience that deeply the very first session, but it's a process that over time, it may take you a year before they crack that layer of you, but you'll find that you're enjoying the conversation over and over and over again.
Hey, listen, man, if there's a therapist out there that thinks they can take me to their trauma faster than anybody else, let's do it. Or do we need to have a session first and then I come back, then I do the deep work, then I come back, and then that's the one we do live? I want to do it because I want people to see, like, in real time. Somebody say, get Dr. Spirit. I don't like that name.
Dr. Spirit?
Somebody just said, get Dr. Spirit. The name, I ain't with it. So
Dr. Spirit.
I need somebody with another name.
Is that her real name?
Yeah, I don't know the person, so it's not like a site. I just need somebody with a different name.
He's definitely, somebody said, thank you, Donnie, because it's definitely a process. I'd love to do a reading on David. If there's one thing I can guarantee you.
Not doing the readings, man. No Dr. Spirits, no readings, okay? Just take me to my trauma.
But you have to really be open to it.
I am open.
Yeah, you're open to the meeting. You have to be open to the process. Yeah. Like, you're open to scheduling it on your calendar. You have to be open to what therapy is to do for you, because you can still be close. Therapy isn't magic. Yeah. So if you approach it very guarded and closed off, that's the experience that you're going to have. But if you just release, maybe you should, what do you do to, like, for example, some people smoke weed to just be open and zen. Some people drink mushroom coffee. What do you do to just tap into that space where you can just be open?
All right, define open.
Open is where you welcome ideas and things that you normally wouldn't.
Open all the time.
You are not. Nope, don't want Dr. Spirit. How you blaming the lady for her last name?
I just don't. I just don't like the name.
Yeah, because you're
she's probably really, really good at it.
So you don't like the name because of what?
I don't know if she's trying to like.
So when
she's trying to like talk to my
spirit. So when Sarai gets older and she's a cheerleader, and they say we need her to have team spirit, how's that gonna make you feel?
I'm with that. Gotta have team spirit.
But her name just can't be. What if she has the most team?
Unless that's her real name.
What if I'm with it. What if Sarai has the most team spirit and they nickname her Spirit? You know, all the cheerleaders get a little nickname. What if she's the most cheerful and they nickname her Spirit?
I'm with that.
Okay, so then someone says, hey, Shans, tell Spirit we want her to come over to the little sleepover.
Maybe if that's her real name, I'm open. Let's do it, Dr. Spirit. But if her joint is focused on like trying to like tap into my spirit, no. How do you know?
She's been on.
Oh, you know her?
She was just on Harley Initiated.
Oh, word? Oh, she was on. Okay.
Oh, is that who that is? Is that her real name, Dr. Spirit?
I think it's her real
Oh.
name.
No disrespect, Dr. Spirit.
If it's her real name, you're open to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you have. Is it because of your religious beliefs that spirit is a trigger for you?
No, it's not a trigger, but I don't know what spirit she's, you know what I mean? Like different people be operating in different spirits.
Is it giving witchcraft? When you think
on the surface, but I don't think that lady is that.
So when I say I am doing a deep dive to align spiritually, I'm doing a lot of spirit work. Does that make you feel like I'm doing witchcraft?
No, it just makes me feel like you are working on your spirit. I'll be working on my spirit too. But other people, I don't know what they be on.
I understand. No, I fully understand where you're coming from.
So.
I don't partake in the witchcraftery.
Yeah, just get into my emotions, get into my backstory and my trauma and my healing and stuff like that.
Yeah, you want them to be able to be a magician. You want them to have one conversation with you and diagnose that this happened to you when you were 7.5 years old. And that's not how it works.
I think I got it. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone to help me understand how therapy isn't a waste of time. If we could do that in one session.
That is fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Convince me.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like, is there ever a moment where you feel like you want to talk to someone about stuff and they're not attached to the outcome?
What do you mean?
Meaning, I just really need to vent to somebody that doesn't have a benefit in my decision at the end of the day. You ever just want to have a conversation and just vent?
I honestly don't think I've ever had that.
You mean
everybody either, if you talk about your problems, they're going to talk about their problems, or they're going to give you advice that you don't really want. So,
but would that be beneficial for you to be able to talk to somebody about your problems, your joys, your experiences, just to have a listening ear from someone who won't then respond with their own problems?
Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
It's therapy.
So I want to pay somebody $1,000 an hour to sit there and listen to me. It's worth it.
There are moments where there are things that I just can't talk to anybody about, because if I say too much, like if I discuss my worries with my mom, who I tell everything to, if I discuss too much of my worries, then she starts panicking, right? And then
somebody judge you.
Well, no, it's not judging. So, I take care of my mom. If I go to my mom and say, for example, if I ever go to her and say, oh, wow, like this month isn't the best month financially in business, like things are slow, my mom is immediately going to respond with, if you need me to cut back on this, if we need to sell this condo, stop, right? And so I can't talk to her about things like that because, Mom, the ship isn't sinking. Things aren't falling apart. It's just this month, I just want to vent about what's happening and maybe get some ideas and some good advice. If I have that conversation with my daughter, she doesn't know how to help me. If I have that conversation with you, you might respond and be like, yo, bruh, for real, facts. Like this is, and so now we're having a conversation about a situation, not necessarily about mine. So it's absolutely valuable to be able to speak to a therapist and say, these are the things that I'm dealing with right now. Like, you know what? I'm really navigating a slow season in business right now. I love talking to my friends about it, but I just want to vent about how that makes me feel and how I'm dealing with the pressure of that. And yes.
Why not get a puppy?
I have one.
I'm just saying, if you're just going to talk to somebody and they just sit there and listen.
They're going to sit there and listen, and then they're going to ask me questions to make sure that mentally I'm intact.
I see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yo, if there's anybody, and I feel bad because the lady Dr. Spirit is probably really, really dope. Dr. Spirit, I rocks with you. But if somebody's good, somebody's good at it.
Did you do this, Dr.
No,
Spirit?
I said no. It was a point. It was a you. But if someone is a
and you're not paying your therapist $1,000 an hour.
How much are they?
It depends. You can buy packages. It can be a couple $100.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. I just want someone to convince me that therapy is not a waste of time, and I'd be with it. That's all I'd be looking for, because I haven't experienced it yet, and I'm open to it. I just want to understand. We were supposed to talk about Podcast Summit, but I do want to do some deep work because it sounds like fun. There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the Morning Meetup. Every single month, we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month, and every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast. They join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot.
You really should do some deep work. And now is a great time for you to do some deep work. You are on the other side of the biggest event of the year, right? All of this planning and preparation, and there's anticipation and anxiety that leads up to an event like a podcast summit. And now that it's done, it's kind of like you probably feel like you got some of your time back, and you've got maybe not free time because you're probably catching up on a lot of stuff that you neglected during that process. But now is a time to like really reset and get balanced and have the ability to say, you know what, let me take a deep dive to make sure I'm navigating. Also, the deep work will prepare you differently for Podcast Summit next year, and you approach it differently, and there won't be so much anxiety. There'll be more anticipation than there will be anxiety. Do the deep work, like get the therapist, and
Okay.
If you don't, okay, but what's the accountability here? Because you finally agreed to the
I'm
therapy.
making a public invitation. Somebody just need to hit my DM.
That's for, and I appreciate that, but that's for entertainment. I want you to
No, it's not. I think it's the first step to getting me to take therapy serious. I want to have a conversation with somebody where it is mind-blowing, somebody that makes me feel safe, someone that asks all the right questions, and it doesn't have to be fixing my problem, but help me understand. Like, I just leave me saying I want to have more sessions like this. If someone's like, yo, I don't believe in business coaching, let's have a session.
Yeah, let's have a session.
I guarantee you'll say, I want another one of them.
Yeah.
I can convince you that this works. We're going to like think through this. So I want someone as efficient as I am in coaching, in therapy, where I'm like, ooh, I need some more of that. You really broke some thought processes or barriers, or like kind of like Myron says, move the furniture around in my head.
Yeah. And then there are also different types of therapy. So you have to, when you invite someone on, there are therapists who specifically deal with overcoming trauma, childhood trauma, healing childhood trauma. There are therapists who deal with like your relationship. There are therapists who just deal with the situation that you're dealing with at that time. So you want to be very, very intentional about getting the right person.
How much is Alanya?
Iyanla, I don't have her rates.
What you think though?
I don't
you
have
think
her
she
rates.
still does sessions?
Let's see. She
probably next level, but I think
she Google
like,
Dr. Iyanla therapy.
I think she's tickling your
rates.
spirit too, though. She got to tickle your spirit a little bit.
Iyanla might swing at you during therapy. It's not too many people that I'm afraid of. I wouldn't play with her.
Really?
For sure not.
I'm gonna watch this. I don't even think I've watched the session. I'm gonna watch it. Yo, somebody asked.
Iyanla would read you and me to the filth. You hear me?
I think she'd meet her match.
With who? You?
Yeah. She'd be like, bro, I can't do this.
I'm good on this one.
I'm gonna pass on this one. Let me look up Dr. Spirit real quick. Let me see what's going on right there. Is her name Dr. Spirit?
That's what they're saying. I'm not familiar with her. She was on Hardly Initiated.
Why
don't we just call
Mental health revolutionary, licensed and practicing therapist, global mental health leader, TV radio host, certified child custody evaluator, CFMHE. Trademark. All right. Shouts out to Dr. Spirit. She got gray hair like me too, so I think I can trust her.
First of all, you are ignorant.
No, it's like fly gray though.
Let me see. Turn it around.
Well, let me show you. It's like a fly
Hey Ty,
gray.
we are recording an episode of the Social Proof Podcast. Do you believe
Put on
it's
speaker.
possible?
Put on speaker.
It's
That's Tyshaun?
Tyshaun.
Put on speaker.
Hold on 1 second. I'm putting you on speaker.
Yeah, listen.
Say
Dr.
hey to
Spirit
the
knows
Social Proof
something.
Podcast.
What's up, Social Proof?
Y'all see Tyshaun? Look at him. Can y'all wait?
What up, bro?
Look at him. Your picture pops up in this pinstripe suit.
Y'all live on the show right now?
We are live on the show right now.
This is incredible.
Isn't it? So David is agreeing to do his first ever therapy session, and a guest that you recently had on Hardly Initiated podcast has been highly recommended, Dr. Spirit.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, David needs some Dr. Spirit.
Really?
David, let me tell you. David, the last podcast mastermind that David invited me to, where we had a conversation, I already know David need to get in somebody therapy session.
Why do you say that?
Say it again?
Why do you say that?
Because the last conversation we had, David, was like, it was funny, but it was low-key toxic.
Tell us more. You can be,
was-
no. David is fully transparent.
Full transparency.
He has no shame. You can say 100, and I'm being serious. You can say 100% of why you say that.
I think the conversation was around why if David's wife left him, he wouldn't. I think it was like either you wouldn't care or you wouldn't cry.
Probably I wouldn't cry. I would care. I wouldn't cry.
Dave?
I would care. I wouldn't cry though. That's toxic?
Well, we not really contextualizing this properly because there was some emotion that you had shelled up. I can't remember the details of it, but don't get me wrong. This is like a common, masculine issue that you were having. It was an issue that I think most of us men have because we don't really embrace our emotion. Mm-hmm. So I don't think this is mutually exclusive to Dave, but I definitely think it's something to explore. As we've had Dr. Spirit on our platform 3 times, and every time she comes on the platform, I see why I need to get my behind in therapy as well. Because naturally as men, I know, bro, I haven't even I cried recently, like a few weeks ago. But before that, I hadn't cried in like 4 or 5 years.
What brought you to those tears?
Oh, come on. I thought this was about Dave, Donnie. What's going on right now?
I mean, you know what? That's fair. Someone is saying though, one of our community members is saying he doesn't want to put the whole business out there. They basically saying that you're treading lightly, discussing what's happening with Dave, and he's really looking for transparency here. So when you say that conversation was toxic and talking about him crying and all that, first of all, you said that David needs therapy. You're an advocate of therapy. What was it though specifically that led you to the conclusion that he must get therapy? Some of his train of thought is toxic.
I'm really trying to remember the details of it. But from what I remember, Dave was pretty much claiming that if his wife left him, it was like this shoulder shrug energy. Like, I'll be all right.
Okay, cool. Hold on. We're going to stop right there. We're not going to be that.
No. Because we can't say that because then it sounds crazy. So if I think the context was like, yo, would you cry? I'm like, no, I wouldn't cry. If like my wife left me or my best friend, if Donnie, I don't know, somebody said something that I said about Donnie and it was a lie and Donnie was like, David, I'm not telling you ever again. Would I cry? No. Would I be hurt? Of course. Would I not? Would I go into a spiral of depression? No. Because I understand that things happen good and bad. Like I don't have my mom or my dad. Mm-hmm. So another person leaving me, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, what do you want me to do?
That makes sense, but that's also trauma.
Let me ask you something.
How is that trauma?
Hold on, let's listen to Sean.
Would you feel anything at all? Like, what would you feel?
I'd feel sad. I feel sad. I feel hurt. I'd feel
devastated.
I would feel emptiness, but not for long. How long are you supposed to stay there? Mm-hmm. Y'all looking at me crazy, like I'm saying something wrong.
David.
Like, the healthiest thing to do is to spiral into depression. I don't understand that.
It's not that you're saying anything wrong. It's the fact that you're so loose with how you communicate these emotions is connected to some trauma.
How should I not? I should be more tighter with how I communicate?
No, but being emotionally intelligent. Have you ever read the book Emotional Intelligence?
I don't think so.
You should read Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Emotional intelligence is not only about understanding how you would respond emotionally, but it's also about having one of the elements or components is called emotional awareness. And the awareness means how how you respond to your own emotions with being aware of the people around you, right? And who those emotions would impact. And so if you're aware of me or Dre, and you say that there's a way to communicate that. Like, I want to ex-friend you right now if you say, I wouldn't be down too long. I wish you would not be down. You better be strung out for a year.
Donnie,
and over Dre for like
Donnie,
5 years.
Think about some people. You've been in multiple relationships throughout your life.
For sure.
And you wouldn't be in a relationship unless you love that person.
Yes.
I mean, the serious ones.
Right.
It's not like you lock yourself in a room after the breakup. You jump on Bumble. Or we jump on another app, or we feel something for a while.
You go through a season of purging, for sure.
Yeah, but my point is, so we're saying it like I came on a podcast saying, hey, honey, if anything ever happened to us, I wouldn't care. That's not it. I would be hurt.
Didn't
but
say that.
I think that the context of what I was telling Ty is I've had goods, bads, ups, downs. I've created some amazing relationships and friendships. I've lost some amazing friendships. It is the cycle of the world.
Yeah.
And because I understand that, it prevents me from staying down too long.
Yeah.
And maybe the toxic part is it prevents me from being too excited over things too.
I'm not ever down long either.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I move through things, but they deeply impact me. While I'm not down long, that doesn't mean that I'm still not dealing with what caused me to be down. And then I go into my season of deep work to figure out how to
this so we can see your face.
And then I go into my season of deep work where I'm healing through things, but it's not like, oh, it's over, it's a wrap, 3 weeks, done, never to be thought about again.
I didn't say that either. So you all created that narrative.
Because first of all, so I am so pro a Dr. Spirit episode. I'm going to connect.
That's what I wanted to.
Let's do it on Hardly Initiated. See if she can get me to crack.
Yeah, absolutely. You about to get fully initiated, Dave. But what I want to say here, I think the biggest red flag, because it was also, we were talking about love and how love was included in this. And I can't remember the details of it, which I'll get back to you on. But I'll say this, Dave. I think the fact that really brought around to this was the relationship with the emotion crying itself. You were pretty much like, I would not cry. And I think that was probably one of the biggest red flags more than anything else. I don't think anybody should be down and out or stay in a place of sadness. But when you have a relationship with the natural ability to cry, because crying, just like we defecate, it's this emotional release that we also need to have, that I'm even learning how to do.
Where did you get that from, Ty? Where did you learn what you just said?
Defecating.
It's flowing through me right now.
No. Where did you learn what you just said? Where'd you learn that?
Dave, I promise nobody told me this. I never even said this before until right now. I promise.
So you just made it up right now.
I just made it up right now.
So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what are you talking?
No,
come on, Ty. We can't. Okay, so you say a statement like, crying is a natural thing, just like defecating. So when people say that, they say it like there's some sort of scientific something around it. But you created it and expect me to believe that the way I am needs to be changed based on you creating something right now.
Let me say this. I believe that as entrepreneurs, as CEOs of highly successful, high-level small businesses, as a person who influences and impacts thousands of people, and someone who's navigating a marriage and fatherhood and recent loss, I believe for those things alone, you deserve therapy. You deserve a place where you can just go and talk about whatever comes on your mind, where you can have conversations without feeling guilty about who you're having those conversations with. And that in itself is useful.
You don't think this podcast is therapeutic?
I think this podcast,
because I'd be saying all kind of stuff. Like, just this conversation is like something I say to a therapist.
Yeah, for sure. But what I was thinking about was when we were very intentional about doing like our monthly lunches where we just unleash.
Those was good.
That was therapy, yo. Yeah, like that was probably like where at the top of my mental health. Having my friend who understands and he knows everything, and I can talk to him about the business and what I experienced with my daughter and relationships and breakups, and because you knew all of the components that were attached to those things. One, I think it's important to have friends like that you can talk to, but there is something it's just a different experience when there's a person who's a trained professional. It's like you've been trained over all these years to understand your target audience. Yeah. So has a therapist. And the way that you can communicate with your target audience differently than someone new coming into the space and having the same audience but not understanding how to communicate, that's a therapist.
I want that. I'm 100%
Sean,
open to it.
Can you do a group thread with me, you, Shans, and Dr. Spirit?
I will absolutely put it together.
I thank you so much. Y'all give it up real quick for Tyshaun from Hardly Initiated.
Let's do it.
Bye, Ty.
Later.
Bye.
All right. That was good. That kind of stuff is therapeutic for me. because I get to share my real thoughts, though unpopular. You know what I mean? Like it's unpopular, but I feel safe talking to you on this podcast in front of our audience. People that have been rocking with us, they know we get into the manifestation or the feelings and stuff like that. And I'm standing my ground, not because I don't want a different way of looking at it. I'm standing on what my thought process is, because no one's given me a good reason to think of anything otherwise.
You are standing on your thought process because you are a master independent thinker. You believe what you believe, and until someone comes around and dispels that belief, you are standing 10 toes down on that idea. And that's what I mean by you not necessarily being as open as you believe you are, right? Once you have a thought in your head, I've witnessed this over years. Once you have a thought in your head about an idea or a business or a person, there's no penetrating that thought.
I don't believe that's true.
Oh, it's true. You don't believe it's true because...
No. It's just people can't... Sometimes someone can convince me that the way I was thinking was wrong, and I don't have an ego about it. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So a podcast summit, I'm doing the hot seat. It was right before you came. Doing a hot seat, and this guy stands up, and I forgot what the conversation was about, but he said something and that I'm in my hot seat mode. I left the person that I was talking to, got up on the stage and got in his face. Not in his face, but I'm on stage, and he said something like, yo, I'm not in VIP. He said, you could do something about that. And I said, what? I could do something about it. I stood up. I'm like, what you mean I could do something about it? Bro, you could do something about it, right? I'm in my mode. And then he said, it was something like, what are your issues or something like that.
Right, he was blind.
No, well, I asked him first, and he gave me some surface answer. And I said, you here with your wife? He said, yeah. I said, wife, I want you to tell me what his issues are. And I want you to be honest. And then she came up, and I'm gonna get the footage, but she got up and shut me right up to where I was speechless. And I said, man, both of y'all just come on to VIP. I have nothing else to say. You won. But I don't, if someone, I'm waiting for someone to convince me that like, yo, I really need a therapist. And I'm gonna listen, and I'm not arguing just for arguing's sake, but if you could just get me to believe it, I'm with it. I'm open.
So after this conversation, do you don't believe it? You're open to having a session with a therapist to then convince you that you need him or her?
Correct.
Okay. Listen, we're one step closer than we have been in all the years that I've been suggesting that you get therapy.
Yeah, but you're saying I suggest you get therapy, and I'm like, all right, why? And you give me answers, but it hasn't convinced me.
I understand.
But today you said something like, yo, having a sounding board, someone is going to ask the right questions. And when you said that, I'm like, ooh, there's value in asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. Are there human beings other than Donni and myself that could ask the right questions?
Yes.
Wow. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm cool.
And the difference between you and I doing it, so we were fantastic therapeutically for each other as friends, right? But the reason why that's not enough is because you can't put a standing appointment on my calendar. I can't put a standing appointment on your calendar. So these needs come up, and your therapist, you have these sessions, you got a standing appointment, you have emergency line access. And as much as we would love to be that to each other, it's just not always realistic. So it's like the same thing that we tell people about having a coach. Sure, you could go and talk to your accountability circle or Google some stuff. You might, but I am here. It's my job to be present for you in this way, right? And that's what therapy is. It's their job to be present for you in that way when you need to work through a situation or a season that you're in.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to talking to Dr. Spirit. I still meant to ask what her name is, her real name.
How do you know that's not her real name?
I don't know. I didn't say it wasn't. I just said I wanted to know. Or is it like a spiritual work?
Are you
know what I'm saying?
cool with a spiritual
No,
work?
I'm not doing all that.
Okay. Do you want any therapy that's biblical in any way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What if it's non-biblical and just principle?
I'd rather it be psychological and emotional.
Principle, technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that exist, or does it have to
Yeah,
be?
for sure. It doesn't have to be related to any type of religious belief or practice or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think everybody got their own thing that they believe in.
As long as they are a licensed therapist, they have gone through the education required to become that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm with it. All right.
Yeah. I love this. The moral of the story here is that entrepreneurs, we got to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves physically. We have to take care of ourselves from a health perspective. We got to take care of ourselves mentally and emotionally. And what I want to communicate to Dave and to anybody else who's listening, and it's also something that I have to remind myself of often, is we are not equipped to take care of ourselves the way that we need that special care all the time. Sometimes we have to leverage a lifeline, and a safe lifeline would be via a therapist, right? And that's that.
Were you convinced that you need to go to therapy right now?
Was I?
You had this conversation?
I'm so much like you.
Yeah.
But I understand.
I'm saying.
The older you get, you're going to get more emotional.
Cool. So, yes or no, did this conversation make you think, yo, you know what, I need to go to therapy. It's important.
If something was in my heart, yeah, I would definitely
Okay.
be open.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
You don't think therapy makes men weak? Because
No,
I don't think it makes men weak.
yeah,
they're going to be
and
vulnerable.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the issue. I think many men, I won't even say most, but I'll say I think many men avoid therapy because you're expected to be vulnerable. You are expected to become this shell of yourself and give everybody all of your inner parts, your inner workings, your inner thoughts, right? Your inner fears, your inner trauma. And that's frightening for a man to do. It puts you in a position where you don't feel like the strongest person in the room. And for some men, that can turn you off significantly from that. I used to have an issue. I haven't always been open to therapy. Honestly, I didn't start therapy until I was in, some years ago, I was in couples counseling. And in couples counseling, you are, well, at least in my couples counseling, you are under therapy as a couple, but then you also speak separately. And just being able to get out thoughts that I had been trying to communicate to that person, and having somebody hear me and feel me and make me see that I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not asking for too much. Like, okay, so you get this. I'm going down the right path. You understand? When that experience happened for me, I'm like, okay, I need more of this. Because there were also other moments where it was like, okay, no, Donnie, you could stand to check yourself here. Let me give you a different perspective of thinking. But it was the moments for me where somebody heard me and understood what I was trying to communicate and what I was trying to achieve that said, okay, I need more of this. Because the closest person to me at this time wasn't hearing me. So I started to pay for therapy.
How much you pay?
So there's packages for my therapist, and I'll refer you. There are I won't put it on the internet because that's a fail. My package is like $5,000 for X amount of. I've been in therapy
What's the
so
X?
long.
People want to know what the X is.
I honestly don't know. Let me pull up the contract.
$5,000. Somebody throw it in the chat. How much y'all pay for therapy? You have a therapist?
I don't right now.
No.
I had to stop seeing her because she's licensed.
Oh. Also. Oh, goodness gracious.
Every 90 days.
So hold on. If someone lives in Florida, they can't do therapy on human beings in Georgia?
Well, you're licensed in states,
You're licensed in the state.
specific states, yes.
That's a little strange to me. You said $5,000 for 90 days?
12 sessions. So I get 12 sessions. I also have emergency. Like if I've never utilized the emergency. I've never had like an emergency that I needed to work through. And then, but me and my therapist are cool at this point. We text throughout the week.
How crazy is she?
And what I love about this therapist,
That's $400 a session.
what I love about this therapist
I'm
is
not having a poverty mindset. I'm just saying.
what I love about this therapist is that her husband is a therapist as well. And sometimes we'll tap him in on certain conversations as I have shifted my perspective about how I want to show up, like in relationships and things like that. I love that we're able to, but we're almost 2.5, 3 years in at this point. So I've built a relationship with her. You don't have to do that.
You know what's $416 a session?
I don't know if I've ever done the math. So here's the thing.
I be doing the math. You hear me?
I didn't necessarily break
5,000 for 12 weeks.
I didn't necessarily break down the math in that way because when I hired this therapist, I already made up in my mind that it was worth it. So it wasn't an issue for me. People pay me a whole lot more than that for less time.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't a thought.
It'd be a little thought. Well, because that's how I'm
However,
wired.
you don't have to do that. There are therapists.
And the people in the chat's like 100, 200,
I was going to say
250.
there are therapists that you can pay $100 a month. This wasn't always, and I think even the couples therapist at that time was like $5,000 for the same amount of time. So for me, I didn't have any other baseline. But since I've heard, when I've referred my therapist and people have called, they're like, absolutely not. You can get such and such for this amount. So,
I got you. And I
know.
guess it's different levels. So Lewis Litt has a therapist.
Anyway.
Right?
Also.
Right? No, you watch Suits? Lewis Litt has a therapist, and I know his therapist ain't $100 an hour because he got bread. He's going through some real things.
I don't know if you remember, I think it's been about maybe 2 years. It could have been a little less. I wanted another therapist. I was really, really excited about this therapist, and that therapist was a little cheaper. I don't remember what the price was, but do you remember when that therapist shouted me out on Instagram?
Oh, yeah. Weird. So, yeah, you're not supposed to I'm working with Dottie Wiggins.
Yeah.
She's got problems. She's coming to me for therapy. Like, what's wrong
Shouted
with
me
you?
out on Instagram, and so I'll pay whatever you ask at this point for confidentiality.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there are $100 therapists, but I'm sure there's
No
$1,000 an
therapist
hour.
is supposed to do that, even if they're giving you therapy for free. If
No,
you were,
not that situation. But I'm saying
Yeah.
there's $1,000 an hour therapists. I'm sure there's
sure.
$5,000 an hour, depending on if Kanye. I would imagine if Kanye is a
Kanye
therapist.
is probably paying somebody 6 figures a year.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
At least. Shouts out to Mr. West.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Get
there
therapy.
we have it.
Find somebody to talk to. Pay, and what you pay is relative. Let's see. 8 years ago, maybe 10. My coaching was $97 a month.
Yeah.
Today, not so much.
That's a fact.
Right? So what you pay people depends on where you are and what you believe the value is.
Yes. There we go. Yes, there we go. Because would I pay $5,000 to feel better, to get more clarity on who I am in my life in 90 days? Of course. Would I pay $10,000? Of course. Would I pay $20,000? It depends. It kind of depends. How good I feel.
It depends.
And therapy never ends, right? This is a lit profession.
Therapy
I got
never
you on
ends.
automatic payment for the rest of your life because you always
No,
need
not
it.
necessarily, because
I thought you need therapy forever.
well, you do. You should always have therapy, but you, just like you'll outgrow a coach, you'll outgrow a therapist. Like they can only take you so far, or they can only tap into or you may decide that you need therapy in a different area depending on what season you're in your life. So you may have to say, hey, I want to chill on this. Let's go over here and do some couples therapy, or whatever. And
I think with the hot seat, I'm doing a version of therapy for entrepreneurs.
I think so.
I should become a licensed therapist.
No, you shouldn't.
Why not? That'd be fire, wouldn't it?
No, because
That'd add a trick shot.
you
to
don't
my
really
game.
have a lot of empathy.
I have I have an incredible amount of empathy.
Shans?
I don't have empathy?
No.
I do.
You
I actually took a test, and I actually have a high level of empathy. So empathy is the ability to feel when someone's feeling something, and I can feel that.
Okay, well then you don't express empathy to others. If someone tells you that they're going through something, you're like, wow, man, sorry to hear that.
That's not you're lying to me.
Is that not what he does?
So you're saying, okay, so if it's business, yes. But so when we had our sessions where you're really going through stuff, so I was like, dang, Donnie, get back on the horse. That's like, come on, Donnie. You're not giving me enough credit right now.
I am being your friend. While you don't do that, a therapist is trained to have these conversations over and over and over again until they understand how to make it warm and fuzzy and inviting.
Can I connect with someone on a deep emotional level? No. But that's not necessarily empathy. Empathy is so there's some people who have no empathy. Like if you're reading a personality assessment or something, you have these people who have no empathy, meaning there's someone that's clearly feeling bad, but you can't see that. You can't see when something's wrong. So Kay can come in here and she's in one of those modes and she's doing her best to just be up, and I can see it. I can see it. Mm-hmm. There's something there. I can see that. Now, in terms of can I comfort people when they're going through something? That's not my strong suit, but I can see it.
And so here's the thing. You want a therapist who can remain neutral while making you feel comforted, right? It feels comforting, but your therapist can't match your emotions. That's really important. So you have that part down, but you have to feel comforted. It has to feel like you got a big old hug, even if you didn't get a big old hug. Yeah. And that's not your area of expertise. That's not your strength.
So are you implying that not everyone can go be certified to be a therapist?
Oh, I don't know what the requirements are to become a certified therapist.
I don't want to be a therapist, but I do want to understand the human beings in front of me.
Well, even if you are certified, that doesn't mean you're good.
But for me, I'm not opening a therapist practice. I'm saying I'm going to look into.
Maybe I should become a therapist.
No. I said maybe I should become a licensed therapist, meaning going to get my license so I can understand human beings better. I'm coming from a strictly logical perspective. Like I want to be able to better read the triggers of what's happening to somebody.
Okay, well, do it.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, do it. Or you can take a course in understanding human psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get the job done too. I just, therapy might not be, because you'll start showing up with like a medical robe on or something, thinking you'll take this role extremely seriously. Yes, you
I'd add it to my bio, but I'm not like going to change my outfits and stuff. Yeah.
You would. Listen, there are, I get all the time on full transparency, because full transparency is not necessarily interviews, it's more conversations. What are these conversations that I would have with the guest if we were at lunch or whatever? And some people get it. Other people are completely thrown off by it because it's a two-way thing. Like you can come, you can ask me questions and I'm talking and people will say, why are they asking her questions? Why is she talking about herself? And full transparency is my therapy. I just allow you guys to sit down and watch it. Yeah. Social proof is therapy. Some of the conversations like this right here, I just realized that I have pushed my therapist off for the last 3 weeks, just being really, really busy. I'm getting back on the calendar as soon as there's an opening available. And not only am I getting back on the calendar, I'm moving back to, I used to be really good at having a standing appointment. And now it's kind of like, send me your link, I'll book when I can. I'm getting back to like, this reminded me that I need to get back to my standing appointment and prioritizing this because it really was useful and helpful and it's paid for.
Do you get rollover minutes?
I don't know. She don't be tripping. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I bet she don't. I want all of my $5,000. I
Yeah.
want the whole thing. I like this conversation. You know what never mind.
No, what?
I'm starting to enjoy these conversations more and more. Before I wouldn't talk about relationship stuff or personal stuff and feelings, but I've been having these conversations lately, and I've been helping people in a relationship, believe it or not.
Do you know why you are enjoying these conversations now?
Why?
It's because of where you've elevated to as an entrepreneur. And in the beginning, like when we were over in the E-Complex filming, it was about business. We weren't in a season of our life yet where we were able to necessarily see the result and how us being these business people have influenced and impacted the rest of our lives. Well, now after years of being in business and a great amount of success at this point, now you're starting to see what matters. And it's not just about going after the monetary goal. It's not just about work, collaborations and partnerships. Now you're starting to see how your relationships are impacted, how your mental health is impacted. And because you're witnessing that now, these are important conversations to have because you want to get a deeper understanding. I believe that now as you've evolved the same way as I've evolved, you're understanding how all these things work together. And you realize that this really is what it takes to be a successful high-level entrepreneur. We're social proof. We are the social proof, not just in business, but in the lifestyle of an entrepreneur too. And this is what it is.
I'm gonna have another conversation like this with somebody
Okay.
about their feelings and emotions and stuff.
See, you're playing.
No, I'm serious.
No, you're playing.
I like this.
I want to have another conversation with somebody about their feelings and emotions and stuff.
See, that's where you don't have empathy because you can't read that I'm sincere. I like this conversation. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the conversation with Dr. Spirit.
David has grown though in this way because you used to be like, yeah, so let's get back to these 10 steps.
100%. Let's get in this practical application. Yes, it's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
this was extremely
Yes.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to break down Podcast Summit next week.
Yes.
Yeah, because you guys have to hear about all things Podcast Summit. For all of you who are probably in the middle of like planning your first workshop, it doesn't have to be 1,100 people in the room. It might be 10 people. You want to hear how Podcast Summit turned out. That's what this episode was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But one thing that I want the audience to understand is sometimes David and I will come into a room and we have to read the room. We have to literally read the room and feel, what do we actually need to talk about in this moment? That's when we're actually the most impactful to the audience, is when we're reading each other and saying, the conversation that we had planned isn't the one that we feel like we're being led to dive into. We are the most impactful when we read the room and understand what we actually need, because it's usually a reflection of what our audience needs too.
That's a fact. Yo, thank y'all so much for all the love. Hey, send me some encouragement in my DM about my emotions and your thoughts on this conversation. And maybe next time we'll get into what's wrong with Donnie, because I think there was a lot of attacks this week on me.
There are no
Not too
attacks.
much on me.
Nobody,
My daughter says
listen, this conversation was encouragement.
It was.
This conversation was encouragement. And if you perceived it as an attack, that is more indication that you need therapy. Because all your friends are trying
There
to
we go, another attack. It's crazy.
See?
No, it was an attack, but this is good. But you're good at this emotional stuff. So
I am good. I am actually very empathetic, but it's because I've experienced it. You know how to coach differently because you've experienced coaching. I know how to communicate with people and relate to them in this space because I've experienced therapy, right? So I know what it's like. I know what questions to ask. I'm learning from my own experience. I am by no means anybody's therapist, but I am really a great conversationalist, and we can get to the bottom of some stuff.
Good. Hey, y'all, go get your therapy session, okay? We love you. That's why we're having a conversation. It's not for me or for Donnie.
It's for all
you.
of us. It's for the culture, baby. And what we
For
want you
sure.
to do right now is comment your biggest takeaway. What did you get from this episode? Are you going to therapy? Did we encourage you to find therapy? There are, if you just Google therapy memberships. I believe there's a platform, I don't know the name of it, where you can just find a therapist related to what it is that you're experiencing, and you pay them like $99 a month or something. It's like a community, and you get to pick these therapists. Go Google that. Don't let your budget be the reason why you are not taking care of your mental health and getting the faster you navigate through these traumas, the faster, not even traumas, because some people are turned off by that. The faster you have a deeper understanding of who you are and why you are who you are, the faster you will reach your goals at a higher level. I promise you.
And I'm still a little uncomfortable that someone licensed in New Jersey can't talk to somebody in Florida. The therapy.
Well, they can be licensed in multiple cities. They can be licensed in multiple cities, and I'm not sure the rule on it. But you can. I have a client who has a telemedicine facility, and she has to go and get licensed in all these different states in order to operate.
That's not weird though. Yeah, but a real estate agent has to learn the market. A therapist needs to learn people. And
well, I would
it's
imagine,
like a person that moves from Georgia to California, and just because you can't keep the relationship with your person that moved to California, that's crazy.
I would imagine that the reason would be, I think, if a therapist determines that you need medication, they have to refer you somewhere, and you can only be seen. Maybe they can only refer to in-state doctors or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
Come on,
I want to know, but that might be the reason.
That's good. I like this. See, all I need is somebody.
That might be the reason. Y'all don't attack me, therapists that are professionals. I'm just trying to critically think on why that might be the case.
So therapists have to understand, like they prescribe medicine.
I don't think they can prescribe medicine, but they can make a recommendation to a doctor. They can say, you might need something for your anxiety. So I'm going to refer you out to a doctor, right? Yeah. They might detect that you have like some kind of mental health disorder in which they would refer you to a doctor for treatment. And I'm thinking maybe that's the reason why they have to be licensed in their state.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm learning, y'all. Thank you so much. Hey, comment below if you are going to therapy. If you're a therapist, comment below all your clients. Comment all your clients below. So, but don't do that. I was just joking.
And therapists who I believe have like medical staff. I don't know which type of nurse, whatever the nurse is that can write prescriptions. If they are licensed under them, then those offices can write prescriptions.
If you're a therapist, hit me up, man. I'm open to a conversation. However, and we could do it publicly. We could do it on live.
Y'all tag Dr. Spirit.
If it's not good.
Wherever you're seeing this, tag Dr. Spirit and let her know. We need her. We want her. We want to start the conversation there. She came highly recommended. Dr. Spirit, get David together first and then, see me.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
You just watched this whole episode. If you like this episode, watch this one right here. Click right here. You're going to like this one if you like the one you just watched. Check it out.